Good morning. It's about 4 in the morning. I have dialysis today, coming up the first shift. And I was just thinking about radical ways to watch my fluid intake. You see, my body is a fluid reservoir of about 7.5 liters. And I can pull all of that off without any complications before, during, or after treatment. No cramps, no tiredness, no heart palpitations, none of that stuff. Now, my dialysis center limits me to 3.7 liters on their formula that's based on my weight, I believe. And that's very inadequate to me because I drink about 4 liters of water a day. And I don't just drink the water, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And I get a lot of water from food. So, the only thing that really complicates things is when I have to leave the dialysis center over my dry weight and then hold all that fluid, plus the fluid I eat and drink, until the next treatment. And things get out of hand. And I usually get to rein it in about 2 weeks. So I want to start reining that in faster. So I've been thinking about radical ways to get rid of fluid. And one is a sauna suit. So I bought a sauna suit and it's coming in the mail today. Amazon is awesome. And another one is moving my poop faster. Pardon my French. With efforts like raisins, prunes, and most specifically, castor oil. I also take a potassium binder, which is Localma, but that doesn't move my poop. The one that does is Valtessa. That's the potassium binder that gives you like pink shits, literally, and it won't stop until you dialyze. So that's how it started. I take the Valtessa on the days when I'm fluid overloaded. The only reason I still have the Valtessa is because they made me try it, and I had them switch me back to Localma. So I just used the Valtessa to rein in my potassium as a bonus, but mainly I use it to try to manage fluid because it gives me the runs. And that plan worked for like a day. I got the runs when I didn't want them, but then when I did want them, the Valtessa stopped giving me the runs. Let me tell you a story about the castor oil, just so I can give you some context to why I'm telling you this. So a long time ago, I was very sick and in my second or third year of dialysis, and I hadn't found out how to make myself better yet. And I was still dilly-dallying with my research and trying not to be deterred by the asinine advice that I was getting from the dialysis center professionals that told me I had 5 years to live, and they kept telling me I was going to die and all this crazy stuff. And they were probably right, but it kind of went without saying, and they didn't have to say it over and over and over again. They were like overly focused on how sick I was, and it was like making some self-fulfilling prophecy where I was getting sicker and sicker. And there were some outside influences from toxic people that was making me bad too. So I wasn't trying to be radical, but one night I had some castor oil to use, castor oil packs, and I was going to use them topically on my back. I never got around to that, but what I did do on a whim, and it was literally a whim, I got the thought And I was thinking about the cartoons where they used to make the kids eat the castor oil at night. And I was like, what does castor oil even do? So I took a tablespoon of it. And I tell you, I was in the bathroom consistently every 15 or 20 minutes doing number twos because my urine had already stopped. And I number two'd. I pooped every color of the rainbow. I kid you not. Every color of the rainbow. And I lost about 4 kilos that day in weight from all that backed up nastiness that was in my colon. Now, mind you, I was totally traumatized by that. And I never tried the castor oil again for a few years. I've been on dialysis for almost 11 years. And I never tried the castor oil again. I honestly, until maybe like a year ago, maybe a little less. So I was afraid of the castor oil. But what it did for me is all those toxins and that toxic crap that was inside my body, I got rid of it. And I stopped feeling sick and nauseous before treatment or after treatment, especially before, but after treatment and during treatment. I stopped having to do my survival breathing during treatment. I stopped getting the migraines when I didn't do the survival breathing. I used to have to survival breathe to keep my migraines away, the crane breathing technique specifically. And my life just improved a hell of a lot from removing all those toxins. And so that crazy experience taught me a lot about unknown negative factors in the body. Now, that's an old story, but it was very beneficial. So now in the future, it's almost impossible for me to get diarrhea. And when something does give me diarrhea, my body corrects it fast, like the fact that the Valtassa doesn't give me diarrhea anymore. But what castor oil does do for me is it moves my poop in a healthy way where it all comes out like in a night or in a day or in several movements instead of just one movement. And they just keep coming like the conveyor belt is going and it stops producing what it's producing. The castor oil makes it constantly produce the poop, and it's not diarrhea, and it's in an orderly manner, and it's not crazy, like it's literally manageable. Like you could go to work and still have these movements. You'd have to leave your post and go to the bathroom for 5 or 10 minutes, but it's not like detrimental diarrhea like the first time I took the castor oil and it was like dangerous and it was coming out whether I liked it or not. It's not like that. It's like orderly and normal. It's like the best thing. So what I've been doing since I have this tolerance for the castor oil is I've been increasing the amount that I take at night, because at first the castor oil would move and then it just stopped working, and because my body doesn't like to have fast moving poop, it doesn't like diarrhea. It corrects any kind of diarrhea and moves towards slow moving constipation, like where I'll just be like impacted for days and then I'll have a decent movement. So what I've done is I've taken days and turned them into hours, and it's been working wonders for my dry weight and my fluid removal system, where my body can soak up the extra water and remove it through number twos without me having my urination. So here's what I'm going to do in the future, and I'll let you know how it works out. I am going to start taking my herbs with castor oil, and I'm going to wait until after dinner. My diet has recently been upgraded lately. I just been eating brown rice and fruits and vegetables, and then every other day I get free meals at my job because I work at a cafe. So every other day I eat meat because I want to put on muscle, and that I've been talking about my efforts to put on muscle, and I'm having success in that. But I do know that the meat protein is hard on the kidneys, and it's almost impossible. They say it makes it harder for you to heal and restore your kidney function when you're eating meat, and you're supposed to go vegetarian or fruitarian. So what I've done is I've been doing the best of all worlds, and it's working out for me. I feel a lot better, and I have a hard time just subtracting foods without stress. So I slowly subtract the food. So at this point, I don't have meat in my house, but I get to eat it when I have a meal at work. So I get to eat meat one meal a day every other day, or I should say 3 days a week, which is awesome. I feel like it's a bonus. I really like to eat meat, but as I continue this, my taste buds are actually changing, and like I have this mental love for meat, and I'm happy to get it on my plate, and I eat my vegetables and stuff. I'm eating my rice, and I take a bite of that meat. They got all kinds of awesome vegetarian options at the work job, but like I take a bite of that meat, and it's just not as satisfying as it used to be. The microbacteria that live in your mouth and in your gut and communicate with your brain and tell you what kind of foods you like they really do govern those thoughts and those inclinations for your diet. And I think that the less of the meat and sugar that I eat, the less I want it. And I'll have a mental memory from my body about how much I want that food, and I get it on my plate and I taste it, and those bacteria that used to crave it aren't there, and I'd eat it and it doesn't taste as good, and my memory for the food that I'm trying to eat changes. So slowly but surely I am eliminating my own inclination to eat the foods that I'm not supposed to by diminishing the amount of that I eat from them and not eating them every day. Some of these bad bacteria that want this bad food, they don't have resiliency or a long lifespan because they are living off of the shit food. So they die in a day. They die in a couple of days. And the only thing that urges me to eat the food that used to sustain them is my memory of how much I like that food. I have it in my brain, but it's not being produced in the present moment because those bacteria are now dead and gone. So it's just like when you smoking a cigarette and you quit smoking cigarettes, you have the memory of it, and like maybe you quit for like 6 months and you smoke one and you're like, oh, this sucks. Now I know why I quit. It was only the memory of what you liked. It was only the memory of those old habits, those old bacteria, those old beings, those old microorganisms. So, like yesterday, I was eating lunch, and I was kept watching the chef cut up this beef while I'm going around taking out trash. And at lunch, I filled my plate with rice and some vegetarian options. I got some tofu, and then I got over there, and that beef was staring me in the face, and I could just he's like, you want some of this? And I was like, I sure do. Give me 2 pieces. He grabbed a conch and he gave me like 3 pieces. And I'm eating my food. I'm eating the vegetables first. I'm eating the rice first. I'm worried about low blood sugar, so I'm making sure I eat my pasta. And then I take a bite of that beef, and it wasn't good. I mean, it was good. It was beef. It had a great texture, but it was salty, and all I could taste was salt. And I felt wasteful because I knew I wasn't about to finish it. But I ate a few more bites for the sake of having some protein to put on while I go do work. And I gotta say, I did not enjoy eating that beef, and that memory is going to stay here. And the next time I'm sitting here in front of a bunch of meat, I'm going to remember that and probably not eat the meat, especially if it's going to be salty, especially if it's going to be, dissatisfying. And, there's certain meats that I still have a good memory of, but that was a really nice cut of beef. It's like prime rib. And it was gross. And it even saddens me how unsatisfying that beef was, now that I'm thinking about it right now. So yeah, back to the object. Yeah, my goal is to wear the sauna suit in the gym and every day off my dialysis days, and start to come into the dialysis center with literally no weight on me, or maybe just a kilo. Definitely not coming in with 7 kilos, because that's bad for you. Even if I can handle it, I know it's bad for me in the long run. The fact that I can handle something doesn't mean that I should be handling it. It just means that I can, so it's a bonus. It's a blessing for me. But I can manage my fluid better with these efforts: sauna suit, mental discipline and memory of what's going on, and also the castor oil with my herbs. I recently stopped taking my herbs because I was homeless and I was displaced, and I had packed them all up in the boxes. And now that I got them all back here now, I'm starting to herb up again. I'm herbing up. I changed my diet to fruits and vegetables mostly. I diminished the meat. And the next step is to herb up with castor oil, now that I have this ironclad stomach that won't get diarrhea. But the castor oil will move my poops. Plus, it's a positive fat. I also eat other things that are beneficial that will take me a long time to get into. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm already at 17 minutes. That was fast. I must have said a mouthful. So I'll end it there. And we are dialysis warriors, and a lot of people are taking up that phrase, and I believe that it's true, because we're fighting for our lives, and it's an intellectual and physical battle, and it's personal, and your enemy is inside you, and it's also inside the people who are helping you, the medical industry, because they are not individualized and they are for profit. So it's difficult. And I want to say that I am not a medical professional, and this is not advice of any kind. I do not wish to be a medical professional. And this is my colloquial telling of my experiences as a dialysis patient. Take care, everybody, and be well, and do well, and stay disciplined, and be blessed. All right.